Yesterday, one of the most useful AI tools millions of people rely on every single day quietly stopped working the way it used to. No big press conference, no warning in your app, just an email, a cutoff time, and a decision that is already reshaping how people think about paying for AI. And the company behind it did not do this by accident. On April 4th, 2026, at exactly 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Anthropic flipped a switch. If you are a Claude subscriber, Pro, Max, any tier, your subscription no longer covers access to OpenClaw. Just like that, something you were getting as part of your plan is now something you have to pay for separately. And the number of people affected is not small. OpenClaw exploded earlier this year into one of the most popular AI agent tools on the planet. We are talking about a tool that was handling your emails, managing your calendar, even checking you in for flights automatically, all powered by Claude running silently in the background. Millions of people built their daily routines around it. And now the company powering it just pulled the rug. Here is what makes this story more interesting than just another tech policy update. This is not really about OpenClaw. This is about something much bigger that is starting to happen across the entire AI industry right now. By the end of this video, you are going to understand something about how AI companies actually make money and what it means for everything you use every day. Stay with me, because there is a detail coming in about 4 minutes that most people covering this story have completely missed. So let me back up and explain what OpenClaw actually is. Because if you have not used it, you need to understand why so many people are furious right now. OpenClaw launched as what people in the tech world call an AI agent tool. An agent is not just a chatbot you type questions into. An agent actually does things on your behalf. It opens apps, it reads your inbox, it books things, it acts. And OpenClaw was exceptional at this. It connected to Claude, Anthropic's AI, using your own login credentials, and it used Claude's intelligence to run real tasks in the background while you went on with your day. Early 2026, it spread fast. The kind of fast where people who found it felt like they had discovered a cheat code for life. The person who built it is Peter Steinberger. And here's a detail that tells you everything about how chaotic this moment in AI actually is. Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw, has already left to join OpenAI. He built the tool, watched it become massive, and then moved to the company competing directly with the AI powering it. Before the ban went into effect, Steinberger and a board member named Dave Moren actually went to Anthropic and asked them to wait. Anthropic agreed, but only by 1 week. The ban was delayed 7 days while talks happened. And then on April 4th, it went through anyway. Now here's the first big thing you need to understand. Anthropic's reasoning is not what most people think it is. An exec named Boris Cherny posted on X explaining the decision, and the core of what he said was this: subscriptions were never built to handle what OpenClaw was doing with them. When you pay for a Claude subscription, Anthropic assumes you are going to use Claude through their own apps, their own interface, their own tools. OpenClaw was funneling enormous amounts of usage through those same subscription slots, usage that Anthropic's infrastructure was not priced to absorb. OpenClaw had become so popular that it was essentially straining Anthropic's servers in ways no one anticipated when the subscription tiers were designed. So Anthropic drew a line: subscriptions are for their ecosystem. Third-party tools that run heavy, constant, automated usage need to pay differently. And that decision leads directly to something worth watching very closely. The same week Anthropic cut off OpenClaw, they have been quietly pushing their own competing product called Claude Co-work, a computer control AI built in-house that does the same category of tasks OpenClaw was famous for: manage files, automate desktop workflows, control your computer on your behalf. Anthropic did not just remove a competitor from the free tier, they removed a competitor from the free tier and pointed users toward their own version. That is not a coincidence. That is a strategy. Here is where the story gets genuinely complicated, and this is the part most coverage is glossing over. Anthropic is not wrong. The infrastructure argument is real. Running AI agents is not the same as answering a question in a chat window. An agent doing calendar management might use 50 times more compute than a single conversation. If millions of people are running that through a flat monthly subscription, the math breaks down fast. Anthropic giving out a one-time credit equal to each subscriber's plan cost, plus offering refund options by email. That is actually more generous than most companies would be in this situation. They knew this was going to hurt users. They tried to soften it, but here is the honest version of what this also is. This is an AI company deciding that open, flexible use of their technology is less important than controlling how that technology reaches you. Every workaround that exists right now, buying discounted usage bundles through Claude's dashboard or setting up direct API access, adds friction. Bundles cost extra. API access requires setup that most normal people will never do. The path of least resistance now runs straight through Anthropic's own products. That is not a neutral infrastructure decision. That is a business model. And that is the thing you should actually take away from this story, because it is bigger than OpenClaw. What you are watching right now is every major AI company start to realize that being the infrastructure is not enough. They want to be the product too. OpenAI is doing it. Google is doing it. And now Anthropic is doing it. The era of building your workflow on top of someone else's AI model for a flat monthly fee, that era is getting shorter. These companies spent years building the most powerful technology in human history, and now they are waking up to the fact that they let third-party tools capture the value on top of it while they absorbed the cost underneath it. They are not going to keep doing that. For you, right now, the practical steps are simple. Check your Claude email. There is a credit waiting for you equal to your plan cost, and there are refund options if you want out. If you want to keep using OpenClaw or something like it, the bundles in the Claude dashboard are discounted compared to standard API pricing. If you are technical, direct API access is still available and may be cheaper at scale. If you want to stay in the Anthropic ecosystem, Claude Co-work is where they clearly want you to go. And if this is the moment you decide to explore alternatives, Google's agent tools, local AI models that run on your own machine, or whatever OpenClaw becomes now that its founder is at OpenAI, this is a completely reasonable time to do that. Here is the thing this whole situation really makes you ask. You built a piece of your life around a tool. The tool worked because another company's technology ran underneath it, and that company just changed the deal. How many other tools in your workflow right now are in exactly the same position? How many things you depend on are one policy change away from a new price or a new limitation? That is not a reason to panic. It is a reason to pay attention. The AI tools that are going to be reliable long-term are the ones where the company building the tool and the company building the model are either the same or have a real agreement in place. What is the one AI tool right now that you would genuinely miss the most if this happened to it tomorrow? Drop it in the comments. Seriously, I want to know, because that list is going to tell us something real about where all of this is heading. The ban went live at 3 p.m. on April 4th, and the AI industry will not look exactly the same as it did at 2:59.